Now, back to the NFL.
Yep.
Sean Payton thinks that Bo Nix is going to be elite, says he's going to be one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the league in the next 2 years. That's courtesy of Yahoo Sports, Charles Robinson. And I got another update too, Rich, in regards to Bo Nix. Spent time with Drew Brees this offseason. Broncos coach Sean Payton revealed that Nix visited Brees for 4 or 5 days to learn from him and discuss the offensive scheme. Nix also works with Tom House, a well-known throwing coach, as part of his offseason development. So he's putting in the work, and that's why he believes in him. That's his guy, and he's hyping him up as any good coach should.
Right? Think about what we're talking about here. I don't think it's blind confidence. I don't think it's BS either, because if Bo Nix is the guy that Sean Payton wanted, Sean Payton, I mean, clearly you can see what he did with Drew Brees back in the day. He knew what he had with Brees. They won a Super Bowl. They were elite for years. In fact, many think they should have won more than one Super Bowl in New Orleans with that Saints team. If Sean Payton feels like he can replicate that and he sees what he saw in Brees and he's having him sort of mentor Bo Nix, that does bide well for Broncos fans. But here's the question. The question isn't, is Bo Nix going to be elite and great? The question is, when you say that someone's going to be the next big thing, what are other things that come to mind that were not quite the next big thing? Athletes, bands, products, things that you thought were going to be the next thing, and it just like fizzled.
Can I rattle off just the first things that came to my brain? Because
please do.
I hit a little pocket of thought, and I just wrote all this stuff down.
Okay.
One of the first ones, speaking of the Yankees, Jabba Chamberlain, man. He was supposed to be the next big thing. He had his own set of rules. He changed the game. He was on a pitch count. Everyone babied him. And he really, he fizzled, dude. Remember him and Hughes and all those young guys that were coming up at the same time? Phil Hughes. Jabba Chamberlain was one of those dudes. And I'm not hating on him. I'm just stating. I really feel like he was that guy because so much was surrounded around that guy. Greg Oden, I just remember him being supposed to be the guy, and he wasn't. And Zion, I still feel is that guy.
Zion was supposed to be a generational guy. He's still a guy that could take over a game, but when Zion was ripping through his shoe at Duke, and we were at ESPN at the time, I remember being in the newsroom, and everyone's like, this guy's he's going to be the next big thing.
The next big thing, and that wasn't. That's really what we're
I remember when the draft happened, and everyone was hoping the Knicks got that pick because they've had fantasies about what if Zion played at the Garden, he's the next big guy. That's a great example.
Y2K. Remember the hype about Y2K?
We survived it, bud.
We survived. It was like all that hype was the next big thing and nothing. It fizzled. How about this as far as products? Mini discs. That was supposed to be the next big thing. Mini discs fizzled.
Covino, it's funny you would say that because I thought of one in the world of like technology and a couple sports ones.
I got a bunch of music ones too.
When I think back to my baseball card collection,
I got a few future stars.
Danny G put it best. He goes, when there was a future star or rookie that you believed in, you would have pages of your baseball card books because you would keep the doubles of that guy.
Yep. You know who comes to mind for me? Your boy Greg Jeffries.
Dude, that was the one that we said. Greg
no
Jeffries,
way.
good
you
player.
All said that?
Yes.
Yeah.
No way.
I had an entire plastic sheet of his card.
Dude, we all have the same thought because he had so much like Lenny Dykstra promise, right? Like
and
he was the next guy.
There was another guy, and he wasn't on my team, but I remember stacking my book with Todd Van Poppel.
Yeah.
Todd Van Poppel. And you know what? Covino, a Yankee that hurt his hands in a bar brawl or something. Brian Taylor was a pitcher that apparently threw 100 miles an hour. I remember getting his Stadium Club card, and I'm like, I'm going to put this in a screw case.
Speaking of the Stadium Club card, I think we all think of Greg Jeffries, too, because that was sort of simultaneously when Score became a thing, the Score cards.
Future
so if you
stars.
had Greg Jeffries Future Stars, you got all those Score Greg Jeffries cards.
Yeah.
So, and again, that's not to hate. I'm saying it didn't match the hype, right? Bands. Coming up in radio, guys, I've worked in rock radio for most of my career, right? And, of course, Rich and I do a talk show, and we work in sports and everything else. Rich did pop, I did rock. In the world of rock, I can think of 3 bands that were supposed to be the next big thing. And they had good careers, but they weren't the next big thing. Remember the band Fastball?
Of course, The Way.
He made up their mind and they started packing. Remember that song?
Of course I do.
I remember in all the meetings I'd sit in, everyone was raging about fastball and how are they going to be the next big thing.
You know what else they sang?
So different.
They also sang, am I out of my head? Am I out of my mind?
Anyone could see the road that they walked on was paved in gold. And I like those songs. And by the way, 1 hit, 2 hits, better than no hits. I'm just telling you, they were supposed to be the next big thing. I got 2 more. The Darkness. When The Darkness came out, it was like, oh my God, they're bringing back this old school rock sound. It's like party rock. It's fun.
Wait, hold on.
Different.
Could I with Sam hit those high notes that The Darkness hits?
Well, I'm a big Darkness fan. I saw them in concert. I would argue that, yes, they had that big hit. I believe in a thing called love.
Give me the high notes, though.
It's a great song.
They are still very popular, especially in Britain. They're like one of the bands that the British, I don't know, government or whatever will just call and be like, we need you to perform for the masses.
I'm not hearing a word you say until you give me some high pitch.
I believe in a thing called love.
No, not good.
I can't do it. It's going to break. I did it on Two Pros and a Cup of Joe one time.
There was a big charity concert just recently. I forget which one it was, but they performed. There was a tribute show or something they performed.
Yes.
Who was it? I saw it too, Sam.
It was like a month or two ago.
Uberly talented, and they were fantastic. But after that
you're
song,
right.
it's not like their catalog goes deep.
No, well, they have some really good albums. I'm still a huge Darkness fan, and I know they never exceeded
but guess
the...
what, Sam? You're the only huge Darkness fan that I know.
Well,
except in Britain, apparently.
They're big in Britain,
yes.
Which is where all our biggest affiliates are, Dan.
Stoked for the Darkness.
Okay, I got one more band, right? And again, stellar band, but they were marketed as the next Guns N' Roses, and I use this as an example all the time. And I actually like this band a lot. Buck Cherry was supposed to be the next Guns N' Roses. They have a great career, and they're super talented, and I love their hits. But they are far from Guns N' Roses, guys. I'm just telling you, they were supposed to be the next big thing and weren't. And, Rich, I want to call you out because you used to rock that shirt brand called Rule because you said it was going to be the next big thing.
That is true.
And it did not rule at all.
I'll give you one that I feel like, luckily, I don't think you are spot because you guys were my buddies at the time. Before streaming took over everything, when you had your wall of DVDs in your apartment and you felt so proud of it, you had all the DVDs in alphabetical order, and then we had a decision. I was like, oh man, are we going to start doing Blu-rays or HD DVDs? And within a year, neither, because we started streaming things. But do you know anyone that invested big into I got Blu-rays?
The way of the future.
They fizzled.
The way of the future.
It's the wave of the future.
Fizzled. So if Bo Nix is the next big thing, according to Sean Payton, and nobody's rooting against him.
Yeah.
We love greatness. We root for greatness. Sam roots for the darkness.
And greatness.
What
I'm still with him.
What? Hey, I like that song too, Sam. But what are some other things that were supposed to be the next big thing that ended up being not a thing? How about Palm Pilots? They were big for a minute and then not at all.
I'm trying to think of it. That there's a whole category that we're gonna mentally start unlocking some memories now of technology and stuff.
I also do want to say that where Sam is on the Darkness, it's a good place to be because not everybody they're not bandwagon. So if you love them as much as you did, you're through and through with them. And so I know you want to say that you want to stand up for them, yet I think it's a good place to be in a fan because then they're not going to be mainstream, which is what you a lot of times don't want with your favorite bands.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go, Sam.
They've posted videos back when I Believe in a Thing Called Love came out, and they were in front of 100,000 people performing, and now they're doing much smaller venues.
Do you remember they pulled that 9-year-old kid on stage and he just randomly
And
he started shredding.
randomly high voice? It was amazing. It was crazy.
Are they cooler than me? Yes. So it's not a diss. I'm just saying they were supposed to be the next huge thing.
Danny, this happens a lot. I know you came up in hip-hop radio. There's a rapper I'm sure that the whole label vouches for, but the fans just don't attach.
There were so many corporate-made groups when hip-hop was hitting really big in the late 90s and early 2000s. A list that's so long, Rich, it would take up the rest of the show.
Yeah, I'm thinking along the lines of 2000s pop groups like back in the 80s. There was always someone that, like, Covino, who is this? You said you had a CD back in the day. I remember there was a CD you said, and on it said Nirvana's favorite band.
Oh, it was the Meat Puppets. So, yeah, I remember you'd spend your hard-earned money on CDs, and I'm in there at Compact Discworld or Sam Goody, Coconuts, whatever, and I remember seeing the Meat Puppets. They had, like, one good song at the time called
Backwater.
Yes,
Backwater.
that's right.
But they also did Lake
And
of Fire, which
they did Lake of
Nirvana
Fire, which
covered
Nirvana
much
covered.
better.
Absolutely, but on the CD it said, they're my favorite effing band, Kurt Cobain. So I'm like, yo, I got to get them. Like, that's an endorsement. And it fizzled.
Their rendition of Lake of Fire, I do not like at all. I like the Nirvana one much more.
Rich,
So when you get that endorsement, though, Danny G, it
Yeah.
just puts that much pressure on that moment, So that's why we have these conversations and thoughts, because they were so hyped at one point.
and all three of us came up playing music full time. I think back, Rich, to the it had to have been like the year 2000 or right around there, but the record company for Little Bow Wow. I remember them just trying to sell me on them, and their main, I think it was like the vice president of their label at the time. He told me I was making a huge mistake not playing his record because he's going to be one of the most legendary MCs by the time his career is done.
Little Bow Wow, you say, huh? Let's go to the phone calls. I'll give you one more, and then we'll take the feedback, because I have to mention it. It's a guy that was dating supermodels. There were chants in stadiums when Steven Strasberg would pitch. Harvey's better. Kids wore Batman masks to Citi Field.
That's right.
Matt Harvey went from must-watch pitching to, accusations and lost, arm injuries. Everything went wrong for Matt Harvey. He got dumped by
the Dark Knight. Like, I also think that's part of it. When you have a cool-ass nickname and you don't live up to it, that also gives me the same feeling, like Hensley Bam Bam Mullins. Like, you better be hitting bombs with nicknames like that. Or Raheem the Rocket Ismail. Like, you better be the Rocket.
It's Covino. It sucks because the Mets had a couple of these more recently, and he played for your Dodgers, Danny. He got a stint with the Angels. Noah Syndergaard, Thor, 6'6", long blonde hair. Had like the promise where people thought he was going to be the guy for years, no matter where he ended up, and it just sort of failed. That's a bummer when you see stories like that.
Who else comes to mind
The way the future.
when you think of grand openings, grand closings, or actually probably never opened at all? They just never really took off the way you thought they would. The next big thing that wasn't in music, sports, entertainment, technology.
Let's say hi to Dave in Seattle. What's up, Dave?
I just want to drop one for you on some wrestling. Remember, Lex Luger was supposed to be the next Hulk Hogan.
Lex Luger was someone they put a lot of hype behind. Well, the Ultimate Warrior they thought would, take over for Hogan, and the fans just didn't seem to give a crap about the Ultimate Warrior, to be the main guy.
I got one for you, Rich. When we were kids, the Nintendo Power Glove was supposed to be the bee's knees next big thing in video
that
gaming,
stunk.
and it never worked the right way. Yeah, it stunk, so it just never took off.
Robert, St. Louis, what's up, buddy?
Hey, guys, I got a couple music and a couple athletes. So athletes, remember Freddie Adu? I think he was like the youngest player ever drafted for MLS. Now, I know it's a fringe sport in the U.S., but he was like 16, 17 years old and on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
I'll say that. I'll be honest, I don't know, but
No, he's absolutely correct. And just by him saying Freddie Adu made me think of Felipe Lopez, who was a top high school basketball product. Same thing. He ended up going to St. John's, and you thought, this is in the 1990s when Lopez came in, and you thought he was going to be the next big thing on the cover of SI.
I remember that
never happened.
I was living in New York at the time,
Sure.
and I remember, of course, Felipe Lopez. Man, the kids are both in the NBA and have had stints already. But didn't you think we'd be more influenced by the Ball family? Remember when LeVar Ball just came out of nowhere and he was the most loudmouth dude talking about his kids? Now he's missing. He's had his leg amputated and his kids
I would say they've done all right, but not to the level we thought. Right?
I
That's
thought
fair.
LeVar Ball was going to be part of our daily
course-
conversations.
Lonzo obviously dealing with injury and things like that. But I'm with you, Rich. I thought for sure we'd be talking about them a lot more.
Let's say hi to Tim in Texas. Hey, Tim. Timmy.
So I don't know why the first thing that came up to my mind is Zion Williamson. It's just because he was so hyped up when he was in high school. I know he's still playing, so he might have a chance to still be the next big thing, and I hope he does. But so far, he's just not meeting expectations. What do you all think?
Not at all. I'm with you. Yeah, we mentioned that briefly, but I'm glad we're all on the same page there. And again, it's not to throw shade or sneak this or talk smack about anybody, because they had to have been that good or leave that much of an impression on somebody for us to even think that.
Well,
like, who else comes to mind for me?
But hold
Rich?
on, just to Zion for a second, Covino.
Sure.
Just to be fair, he's a 2-time NBA All-Star, and he just turned 25.
But he hasn't met the hype we expected.
And off the court stuff has not been in his favor. All I'm saying is that I don't know if we could officially say the story's done on Zion Williamson when the guy, again, 25, he is a 2-time All-Star, right team, right cast. Who knows if, he could turn around. I know what you're saying, though. Out of college, he was supposed to be immediate impact.
But that'd be cool if he did turn it around. And as I was saying, you had to have some sort of credibility to even gain this reputation of the next big thing, right? Like Kevin Moss. If you guys remember in the 90s, that dude came out and he hit 21 home runs faster than anybody ever did it. 21 home runs in like just not even a half a season. And everyone's like, he's the next big thing, dude. He's the next first baseman, Yank. That guy was grand opening, grand close, and he was out of baseball in like 3 years. So, and I'm exaggerating. Probably
just to show you that it doesn't always.
I'll look his stats up, but he was not the next big thing.
Just to show you that sometimes the hype does deliver, I would have to say you got to give props to Shohei Ohtani because he could have been that. Meaning,
absolutely.
Japanese player who pitches and hits. Like, it had all the ingredients to flop, but the fact that he delivered is unbelievable.
Oberman called it, remember?
Yeah. It's like, there were people that thought, this ain't going to work.
I apologize if I repeat anything you guys said, but that's what I actually admire Bryce Harper with that because
I love Bryce Harper.
Because
I'm with you, Dan. I remember the stories where he'd have the eye black, as a young college player and everything. Yep.
Like he's lived up to it for what he was hyped to be. Now, granted, he brought some of the hype on himself, but
he was such a young kid and he was supposed to be that next guy, and he ended up being that dude.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Did Bryce Harper coin the phrase, that's a clown question? Am I correct if I say that?
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Some reporter asked him a dumb question.
Dude, that's so old. That's right.
Yeah, it's a clown question. I'm going to bring that back. Manny, what's up? El Paso.
Guys, how we doing, man? Okay, products that fizzle. Clear Pepsi. They even went ahead and put Van Halen's right now in the commercial.
Crystal Pepsi was going to revolutionize the cola game, the cola wars.
And as far as sports athletes that lived up to the name, and I'm a big NASCAR fan and baseball fan, but Dale Earnhardt living up to the name Intimidator. Till the day he started, till his unfortunate last days, he was always wreaking havoc. But
yeah, it's a good one. Dave in Oregon. What up, Dave?
Hey, fellas. Yo. How you doing? Great show, bud.
Thanks, man.
Hey, man. This is kind of off the wall, but I got to tell you, a little older, but water beds.
Dude, it's so funny that Covino and I reference an episode of Growing Pains that we all remember. Remember when Mike Seaver, Kirk Cameron made a hole in the waterbed? And I remember one of my friends who he was the rich kid that had his dad would be the one.
It was always our friend's older brother that had the waterbed.
I remember my friend Phil. He was the rich kid whose dad would be okay if you rented the Tyson pay-per-views, no problem. Really? Your dad said okay? His parents had a waterbed? I remember when his parents weren't home, he's like, lay in it, try it out. I remember him like, whoa, this is what rich people do.
Same.
Water beds.
You notice so in the fine print of leases, they're like, you cannot have a water bed if you live here, because if it bursts, then it could ruin everything below it.
So funny.
I think it's more of a liability issue too.
And in the fine print, it says, and no The Darkness t-shirts.
Oh, well, I can't live there then because I do have a Darkness t-shirt.
Damn.
Oh, man. I'm calling your landlord right now.
Let me give you one more recently, because we all have had one buddy. Now, I still believe in crypto enough. But do you remember when people, even credible people like our pal Gary V in the Logan Paul world, NFTs, people were buying NFTs and art, online art, video. Digital art just seems, as of now, that was one of those people lost millions on.
Without a doubt, that's a great one to end on, Rich. You never want to be the NFT of sports, the next big thing, and not make